If Saturday morning cartoons fueled your imagination as a kid and powers your action figure collecting now as an adult, then you're in the right place. Thanks for stopping by, and welcome to Saturday Morning Toy Collector.
And if you like my content, please consider subscribing.
Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of Meet the Collector. And you know, you guys have already known by the thumbnail who I have with me tonight. I have Jared Elswick from Toy Bro. Everybody knows knows Jared. Jared is somebody that I have watched for a very long time, and he is absolutely one of my favorite toy tubers. He's one of my favorite creators, and I could not be more excited to sit down and talk to him tonight. So, Jared, thank you so very much, and welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate the invite.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I think, you know, we bumped into each other like 2 years ago at Legion's Con, and then this past year,
and then a few months ago,
we got a chance to like kind of like really sit down and talk a little bit and get to know each other a little bit more. We were just standing in the lobby. You came right up to me and started talking to me, and I was like very blown away. I was like, oh my gosh, like he came up and wanted to talk to me. Like I'm not over there bothering him, you know, like I'm sure a lot of people are. And that I was really honored by that, man. Like seriously, that was awesome. So thank you so much. We're going to try to keep it, to an hour, so I won't take up too much of your time, but are you braving any chilly weather right now?
Yeah, it's like 5 degrees here right now.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's crazy.
Maybe I might be exaggerating it, but it's definitely in the single digits right now.
Oh man. So I live in northern Florida, and it got down to like 31 today. I know, right? Like I have friends in California that are dealing with fires, and I have friends in Pennsylvania that are dealing with snow. And here I am, like cleaning my pool, like on the weekends, like nobody feels sorry for me, like at all. But yeah, like we're literally having school closures this week because we're anticipating frozen precipitation. Like the state can't even say snow. Like we don't even know how to say snow.
Frozen precipitation.
Wow, that's what we were told. Yeah, we've got one snowplow. I think it's not been used in 30 years, so I hope it works. But yeah, we're gonna get right into it. I've got 20 questions for you, so let's meet the collector. Starting off like where most of us start off, what was your favorite figure growing up?
My favorite figure growing up, man, there's kind of like a few, but the ones that would stick out would be like, Leonardo, always my favorite turtle. Stinkor from He-Man from Masters. And then Tigra from Thundercats. So you could probably pick any one of those three and just interchange them. Maybe it changed as I got older, but and then like in like the Toy Biz era of the Marvel figures, not Legends, but like the original 5-inch line, or Power Rangers. So favorite figure definitely changed over time, but Thundercats and He-Man were where it started, and then Turtles. So those would be the Holy Trinity, I suppose.
The Holy Trinity. Yeah, I have my Holy Trinity as well. Batman, Hellboy, and Spider-Man are like my favorite. It's my Holy Trinity of comic characters. But no, that's awesome. Yeah, Tiger was definitely a favorite of mine growing up, and probably with He-Man. I was a weird kid. Like I really liked. Oh my gosh, I'm completely drawing a blank. The cosmic He-Man, the guy who spun around. How am I drawing a blank on that guy's name right now? But gosh, I can't.
Now you're making me wonder if I know my He-Man, Cosmic He-Man. Oh my god!
Around. So he was yellow and blue, and he would spin around.
Cyclone.
Cyclone. Why? I just completely like went blank on that. Yeah, it was very weird. He never looked like he was part of He-Man. Like he looked like he was part of something else.
Yeah, he's one of those weird ones that sort of doesn't really mesh with a lot of the others, but
yeah,
he's there.
He's from a different toy line.
He fits, but he doesn't. Yeah, he's kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that guy. I don't know why I blanked on his name. So like many of us, a lot of us collected as a kid because it was just what we did when we were growing up. And then you kind of get, into video games and like girls or your first job in college. And then, some of us kind of like fall out of it. And then there's something that happens in adulthood where we get back into it. Did you have like kind of like a little dark period like that? And then if so, like what was the figure or the line that brought you back to collecting from that hiatus?
I've had a couple. of what we'd say dark periods. I could probably go for another one right now, honestly. But I would say, like probably around like middle school, like, 8th grade is when it was like, yeah, I'm probably a little too old for this. And definitely when I was in high school, like, I can't be doing this anymore.
No.
But then I got a job, and my first job was at Target. So there's a whole toy section right there. And I could see stuff before it hits the sales floor. So I was like that kind of Target employee, especially when I really got back into it. I'm like, nobody's getting this stuff. Like, it's going right to my car. I'm buying it. Not to sell it, but because I'm buying toys again. But like at that point in time, that was 2000 is when I got that job. So there was a new Transformers show that started, Transformers Robots in Disguise. That got me going back into Transformers, but then into toys in general. And then 2003 Turtles came back. When He-Man came back in 2002 was like a life-changing moment for me. Like, I took off from work. I had an event. Like, we're going to sit down. We're watching this as a family. Mom and Dad, we're going to do this right now, just like the old days. So like, it was the craziest experience for that. But like, that stuff really got me back in, which I guess it's just the same thing that everybody gets. Like, it's my childhood again. It was nothing new. It was the same stuff, just in a new format. Turtles, Transformers, and He-Man in the early 2000s got me back into that. And then there was another sort of dark period for a while. Maybe like, it wasn't much longer than that. Like around the time I like moved out of my parents' house, when I had no money. I didn't have money for it. And I had to pay to live finally. So, I didn't have the income. It was comics and toys went away for a while. But then Motu Classics came out, and that brought me back in. And that was pretty much all I did for a while when Classics was going. And then I got into Figure Arts, and that really took off. And then it just has snowballed since then. And that was 10 years ago at this point.
Nonstop since then, huh?
Yeah, for better or worse. Yeah, nonstop would be the word.
Man, you think Classics, man. Dude, I remember that. Like, I remember the old Matty Collector days. Like having to log on at noon, pray to God that you didn't get that red screen of death.
I had a second computer at my desk at work that I could use to try to be in on 2 different machines at the same time.
Yeah, I'd have my work computer going, and I'd shut my door at work, and I'd have my work computer going. I'd be up on my phone at the same time. It's like something's gonna work. Like, God, I do not miss that at all.
There's always a mad dash to get everything. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to hope you get it. Yeah. And we're doing it again this Tuesday. I think one of my other favorites, Rio Blast, is going up.
Yeah. He'll be easy though.
Is that tomorrow? Yeah.
It's tomorrow.
Yeah. That'll be easy. Yeah. He's one of my favorites. Again,
they haven't had any issues with sellouts in a while, so I'm not worried about him.
Yeah, definitely. Another one that's weird. He doesn't look like he fits into He-Man, but I don't.
Yeah. He looks more like a Brave Star guy. Yeah.
He does. He really does. So for me, I have really had to sort of like, I had to set parameters and guidelines for myself, very strict, because like if I didn't, I would just be all over the place collecting everything. And, there's only so much money, being married and having kids, and there's only so much space, and I don't want to be somebody that like buys something, opens it, and then throws it in a tub. That just makes me feel like I didn't need it. I didn't need that if I do that. So I had to set guidelines. So for me personally, like I try to collect only like modern remakes of like toys that I had as a kid, like total 100% nostalgia. So companies like Super 7 and like Ramen Toys are like making my childhood right now. And there's a few exceptions, like Mythic Legions and things like that. Do you have guidelines for yourself? Do you set parameters to like these are the rules that I collect by, and you try to stick to them, or is it just
the easy answer is no?
Yeah,
there needs to be, and I'm starting to try to get that going. I've kind of stopped buying like random stuff just because it looks cool. That was kind of a big problem for a while, and it wasn't like a huge problem, but it's something I could easily cut out.
Right.
Just to not get stuff just because I can.
Right.
Because I for better or worse, I like way too much stuff. Like the stuff that the stuff that I collect and the stuff that I feature on the channel, I'm not doing it just because I want to do a review or because it might get views. I like that stuff. If I post like 10 different series of anime figures, it's because I like anime that much, like that big of a part of my life. All these 80s nostalgia brands and stuff like that, I like them. I'm not buying them just because, I have some sort of tangential relationship to them as a kid. It's like, I just like all this stuff. So it's created a bit of a problem in the context of there's a lot of that stuff now. Every 80s property almost is ripe for the picking now, and it exists again. So it's like, I gotta get that. So I'm trying to set some sort of guidelines, or at least, wean myself off of the idea that I've got to have everything. Because I used to kind of hold this one thing true, is like, if I'm going to collect a line, I'm going to collect the line. Got to have it all.
Okay.
I've managed to stop that, but it was a thing for me for a long time. Yeah, but there's not like any hard fast rule that like I can't buy this or I can't buy that. I'm trying to not adopt more lines than I'm already in at this point. I'm trying to stick to what I've got, which is still a lot.
It's so hard.
But there's just too much cool stuff, and I have a hard time letting go. So it makes things difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a huge Star Wars guy. Like if I had to ignore every IP on the planet and could only have one franchise, it would be Star Wars. And I used to be all in on everything when it was Star Wars. Every line that would come out, I would have to get everything. But like now with like Black Series and the fact that I collect so much other stuff, like I really have to I cherry pick Star Wars now. Like I don't buy everything.
Yeah, I do the same with Star Wars, which is a weird thing to say, but yeah, I don't know the last time I bought Black Series figure. It's probably been a year. So.
Oh really? Oh wow.
I couldn't tell you the last time I bought one. They're just not making stuff I care about right now.
Yeah. No, that's true.
And I haven't watched a Disney Star Wars show in God knows how long.
Yeah. Are you just opposed to like the Disney?
I'm not opposed to it. It's just like there's just not a lot of stuff. I'm like, I don't really care about this.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to watch Skeleton Crew. I've heard that's really good, so I'm going to give that one a go.
It's really good, and it just ended last Tuesday, so now you can just
right. So I'm going to burn through it all. I want to watch it all at once.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think everybody just calls it Goonies in Star Wars, and that's exactly what it is. It's pirates.
I can deal with that. Yeah.
Yeah, pirate booty.
That sounds cool.
Like pirate caves. It's literally like pirate ships. Like it is. Yeah, it's great. So along the lines of like parameters or whatever, I know like everybody who is, all the toy collectors that I know that are married and have kids or whatever. We have jobs and we're able to spend, like we have that disposable income now. But, me personally, I have to set myself a budget or like I'm just going to go wild. And, I don't want, to argue with the wife. So I want everybody to be happy. So do you set any kind of budget? Do you give yourself a budget like per week, per month or anything or?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
At this point, the hobby kind of pays for itself for me. So,
okay. I flip.
I don't really.
So like if I need to buy something like really expensive that's coming up, like I'll sell a bunch of stuff. So I use my collection to pay for.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the easy way to say it is like I have toy money and everything else for money. So
yeah. Okay.
As long as I don't have to dip into the other, I don't really worry about it right now.
Yeah, very cool. That's awesome. I know about how this goes for me, but I just wonder, like for you personally, like how much, like what's your percentage of toy collecting, like toy hunting in stores and then buying online? Like, do you do a lot of like in-store hunting anymore or no?
No, almost nothing.
Yeah, isn't that sad?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily miss it, so to speak, but like knowing when I go to a store, like I'm not going to find anything.
Yeah,
like I just know, like I know I'm not going to find anything, or if I do, chances are I end up talking myself out of it. Usually, like there's not a whole lot that you're going to find at a store right now. Like there really isn't.
Yeah,
I go to Target pretty much every other day, just because it's on the way home from the gym. I go to the gym, I go to Target, I go home. And I rarely, if ever, find anything. And I typically only go to Target just to sort of see if there's a random new NECA turtle that's managed to come out. That's pretty much it. Like
Yeah.
anything else, I've already got it pre-ordered, and like I'll just
Yeah.
get it. I'll get it when it comes in, unless it's something really cool, and then maybe I'll grab it. But I have not gone out of my way to go to a store to look for toys in years, probably.
Oh wow.
I
Okay.
just don't see the point anymore. There's just nothing. There's never anything there.
Yeah.
And if it is,
Yeah,
was it worth the
absolutely.
time or effort? Like probably not.
Yeah.
I'd
I'm more
rather,
likely.
I'd love to go find something cool, but it just doesn't happen
Yeah.
anymore. I don't, in my experience anyway.
I'm more likely to do like a spur of the moment purchase like in a store than I am like I don't like one of the things I don't collect Marvel Legends like I like it's probably I may get 3 or 4 in a year like it has to be like a Spider-Man or like a Punisher or a Wolverine. That's pretty much
Okay.
or a Daredevil. That's pretty much it. I don't collect a lot, but every once in a while I'll be in a store and I'll see um this morning I went to my local Target. I have one that's literally like less than like 10 minutes from me, and they had the new Agent Venom, and I was like, oh, I bet he's like fun to pose. Like
On the retro
sometimes,
card?
yeah, the
Yeah, see, I would have
Spider-Man.
bought that. See, I would
Yeah,
have
I
grabbed
picked
him
him up.
because that's new.
Oh
Yeah.
man, yeah, like I have him here. I'm getting him ready. Like have him in a little bag because I like to do like pose videos when I'm waiting on my kids from school, and I know I got to pick them up tomorrow. So yeah, I just grabbed him this morning, and he's just
Cool.
fun to play with, and I'm more likely to like do like one of those spur of the moment purchases in a store. I would be less likely to see that online and be like, I have to have it and then buy it. I probably wouldn't buy it, but you
That's
really
probably
start doing
subconsciously part of the reason why I don't go out of my way because I know it's
it.
likely going to happen, like, at some point, and then I'll end up buying something I don't really want.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's the worst
try
is
to
you
discourage
get home,
myself from doing that. Yeah.
you open it and you're like, why did I
Did I
just
want
spend
this?
$30 on? Yeah,
Right. I'd much rather have
exactly.
that money back. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, dude, I can see your collection behind you. I think it's really neat. I always like seeing your collection for that little short moment, like when you are like talking about
That's
the
like the only
packaging.
part of the room that's worth showing. It's just a mess down here right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
The classic stuff is the only thing that's really, really decent looking right now.
yeah, and I see it behind you too. So like, where do you keep your collection in the house? Like, where's that
That,
room that you're
well,
in now?
this is the basement.
Okay.
And I'm supposed to say that I have half of the basement, but the whole thing is full of toys right now. So, and then the office because I work at home, and my office is also filled with toys.
Right.
It was supposed to be my wife's office and my office, and then she no longer has a desk. So, uh, that's where Cat's Lair and Eternia are supposed to be
Oh
going
my
now that
gosh.
she's moved out of the office.
The Cat's Lair. So did you just get that like recently? Did that just
I
show
had
up or?
the first of 2 boxes showed up yesterday.
Okay.
Yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. Um, the second one's
Yeah.
supposed to be here tomorrow. The second box that has the head and the arms. So I have a very goofy looking thing sitting on the floor right now because I
Oh
wasn't going to get
wow.
anything ready for it until I had it all. So I really had an idea of the exact dimensions and knowing exactly what it looks like, so I can figure out exactly where it's going to go before any kind of furniture gets purchased. Because it's not going to sit on the floor forever. I'm not doing that. It's big enough for it, but I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have Eternia behind me, and it sits in my floor because I literally have nowhere else for it, and I had to even design my shelves around it because it just I literally have no room for it.
Yeah,
And
my
that's a
attorney is
shame. I
still in
knew.
the box.
Oh my gosh, yeah, the
It's
box is incredible.
never even opened it. It's still sealed.
My daughter likes to
No,
come in and
it's
play
gonna
with
open
it, and
soon.
yeah, she likes to like turn on the little car and watch it go around. I failed with my boys. My boys have never cared about. My boys are 14 and 11. They've never cared about action figures, but my daughter loves them, so she'll come in and play with all my He-Man stuff. But yeah, no, yeah. I knew Eternity. I mean, I knew Cat Slayer came in 2 boxes, but I didn't know that. Like, I kind of thought maybe all of the Cat Slayer came in one box, and then like maybe all the accessories and other stuff came in the other box. It's funny
It's
that you've
too
got it
big.
split up,
Seeing
and
how
now
it's
you can't.
packaged, it's just too big. Yeah.
Wow, dang, that's rough getting in one box and then not the other.
Yeah, they got separated at some point, and it's coming. So hopefully
Yeah.
it's tomorrow.
Hopefully it's tomorrow before you guys get any more bad weather. So yeah, this also is my office. So this is my toy room and my office. So I have a desk over there that I do my work from for work, and then this over here, this desk setup is just for making videos and stuff. So yeah,
Hmm.
I feel you. My office is my toy room, and work just has to deal with it when they see everything behind me. But they're super supportive, so they're really cool. And yeah, you're the second person I've talked to that's keeps their toys in the basement. In Florida, we have no basements. It's just not a common thing, I guess, because
Right.
of flooding or whatever. And it's hard to find a home in Florida with a basement. So yeah, I wish I had a basement. That'd be great. I probably already know the answer to this question, but like, what percentage of your collection is in package and then open? I know you open a lot, but do you keep anything in package at all?
Not usually. Typically, no. I mean, maybe if it's something really cool that I want to get an extra one of, I might keep it sealed, but that doesn't happen very often. I got plenty of stuff that is in box, but not that's just because I haven't opened it.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't buy a lot with the intention of keeping it in box.
Right.
I can't think of the last time I did that.
Okay. Um, what do you do, because you are a Mythics collector as well? What do you do with all your Mythic stuff? Do you keep any of your Mythic packaging, or do you toss all that?
It all goes, every bit of
You
it.
gotta go. Gotta go.
It's
Yeah.
got to go.
I do this
If I
weird
had
thing
to
where I
keep
hang on to it.
packaging, I'd have to have a much bigger house.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just too
Yeah.
much.
My packaging is actually up in our walk-in closet in our bedroom upstairs. And so yeah, my wife about twice a year, like every 6 months, my wife is like, yeah, needs to toss some boxes. And so I start, like, I don't know why I keep them for 6 months and then throw them away. I should just throw them away day one. Um do you have a preferred scale of collecting?
I mean, I would say 112, 6, 7 inch, but I don't limit myself to that. You know, a lot of lines are all over the place. Like Figure Arts is 112, but it's a smaller
Right.
scale than Marvel Legends, which is a smaller scale than Legions. Legions are technically 1/10 roughly or whatever. Um, and then I buy bigger stuff too. Um, like 3-0 stuff, 1/6 Mondo.
Yeah, right.
Um, it just depends.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm not like stuck in a lane when it comes to scale.
Okay. And do you have a current favorite toy line right now?
I mean, on any given day, it's probably
Mm.
Legions. It really kind of depends on like what's going on. Like when Necronominus hits, it will be my favorite line again for the 10th time probably.
Sure.
But you could probably interchange. Dragon Ball Figure Arts would be a contender. Ultimates for Turtles and Thundercats would definitely be up there for me. But as far as like maybe the longest running quote unquote favorite would probably be Legions. I devote a lot of my collecting to just that.
Yeah. Did
More so than a lot of other lines.
Did you get anything in the recent in stock sale with like the Armory Knights and anything like that?
I got an all-in and 3 snakes.
Oh wow.
They came in yesterday.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, I got mine Saturday, I think. I got my in stock sale Saturday afternoon. Oh wow, the all in. That's amazing. And yeah, those Ninians are incredible. I don't think I could have enough of those snake men.
Yeah, and I already had 5 snakes, so I'm up to 8
wow.
now. I think I'm done. I'm done with snakes for the time being, I think.
Very good. Very cool. Yeah. And do you have like a current favorite figure, maybe like a desk figure that you're like, this is so cool, I can't put down, and you just keep it with you right now? Do you do that?
Yeah, I've got it kind of rotates. I mean, right now, and it's actually with me because I had it in my pocket when I came downstairs, which is kind of weird. And it's nothing special. It's not even a licensed figure. It's a third-party Dragon Ball figure. But I love this. I love these. So I can't put them down. Like I have 3 of them because they come with different parts and different heads and different hair and different effect pieces. But there's like always something on my desk that kind of like takes the top spot. This just happens to be the one right now. This is the Beast Deities Vegeta, for folks who are familiar with third-party Figure Arts or Figure Arts-esque stuff. That's it at the moment. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, mine's always changing. I don't think I could nail down like a current favorite. Like right now I have Cosmo on my desk. Cosmos. Only because I just got him from Hasbro like I know this figure hit stores like 2 years ago, but like I literally
Right. That was like, that's not a new figure.
new at
Yeah.
all. But it finally like
Not
went
at
back
all.
in stock on Hasbro like right before Christmas, and I pre-ordered it, and because I missed it in stores, and I'm loving this little guy right now. It's just a chunky little. I love this. I like the little microbots being thrown back into the I don't know, deluxe line. I don't know whatever line they are. Well, that is going to bring us to a close for our first 10 questions. And so this is kind of like our little intermission. So I want to give you a chance to like plug your channel, your Instagram, or whatever you have going on, any streams. So where can people find you? Where can they find your channel that they don't know of already?
I mean, the big places, of course, on YouTube. Yeah. Toy Bro on YouTube and Toy_Bro on Instagram. I'm on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. I'm a lot more active there than anywhere else just because of what it is.
Oh, right.
It's a lot easier to be active on that platform, I feel. That's about it, really. I don't do streams very often.
Yeah.
Nothing on my own. I've said this like a million times. I don't like being the one in charge of a stream.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll be a guest. And this is the third thing I've done with other people in like the past week.
Oh, nice.
Suddenly I'm very popular as a guest right now. But yeah, I don't really do them on my own.
What other shows were you on? What were the other two? Where can we find you?
I was on Collection Nexus with Jurassic Jesse last weekend. No, last Monday. And then Grown Ass Men Toys.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of them.
They did I think it went up yesterday also. It was a pre-recorded thing.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, so a friend of mine. So I do double jointed every Saturday morning with Greg Schmerber, and that's a lot of fun. He just started New to Mythics Live, which is every other Sunday, and so I did that last Sunday. So I probably won't be on this, or no, it was Sunday before last. So I don't know if I'll be on this Sunday or not. But yeah, I'm fairly new to like the live thing. It's something I wanted to do for a long time. Greg and I've done just over 30 episodes of Double Jointed, so we've been doing that for a little bit. But yeah, this whole series of Meet the Collector was just something I wanted to do where I could have some like content on my channel that was not like I don't have to go out and buy a figure to do a review. Like I wanted something that wasn't like I had to put some money into it financially to have some content. And so when I sat down to think about what I wanted to do, it was like, man, I really want to get down into the weeds with like people that I know and respect, and whether they're reviewers or in the toy industry, if they're manufacturing figures and whatever, and then like just really get to know like what their collecting habits are and get to know them as a collector, and not how did you start your channel? Like you guys get those questions all the time. So like I wanted to do something a little different. And so yeah, okay, very cool. That's awesome. So we'll so during this segment, I'll have all of your information down below so everybody can find your YouTube and your and what's your name on X? How can we find you on X?
It's Toy Bro Reviews, because Toy Bro is already taken by some inactive dead account.
Okay. That always sucks. Okay, so Toy Bro.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. I'll make sure to add that in.
I'll send it all to you.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Yeah, hit me up. Send me all that. Do you collect anything else besides action figures? Do you have anything else that?
Not well. I don't want to say not really, because I just, for better or worse, made the mistake of getting back into Marvel comic cards. Which is the dumbest idea. If you're watching this, don't do it. It's so hard and expensive.
Are you going back and getting
that started with,
or is there like a new series out now?
No, current stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit of both. I'm going to go back and like kind of finish out some of the collections that I never finished as a kid, because I still have all my old cards from like the early mid '90s. So I'm going to, and a lot of those sets are very easy to collect and easy because there were tons of them made. The card landscape is very different 30 years later, though.
Right.
Yeah, but they recently remade the 1992 Marvel Masterpieces, which is arguably like one of the most iconic sets of comic book cards ever made. Yep. But I came to find out that not only are cards much more expensive now, there are also 8 billion different variants for every single card. So it's impossible to get it all.
Right.
And I've had to come to terms with that I cannot get everything. It's impossible unless you just have the deepest of pockets. But it's a much more fun thing for me to collect right now because it takes up almost no space.
Yeah.
So it's very space conscious, at least in the beginning stages. If I decide to get stupid with it, that might change, but I don't see that happening. But yeah, other than that, I don't really do much else. I did comic books very heavily for a very long time. I offloaded all my comics a number of years ago. When my wife changed jobs and I, for some reason, thought it would just be easier. This gives us a decent chunk of money to kind of coast on for a while. I kind of regret it, but I don't think I would be better for having them, because not only are they an enormous amount of space, they were no fun to move.
Right.
Every time we moved houses. So adding that on to moving an enormous toy collection was always a nightmare. I had like 30,000 comics probably.
Wow. Okay.
It was a pretty big collection. A lot of key issues, a lot of first appearances, first Wolverine, first Sabretooth, first Punisher, stuff like that. That was my thing. That in one of the dark ages of toys, that took over, was comics. Yeah. Big time.
Okay. So what thrust you back into Marvel card collecting? Like, was it because they were putting back out the Masterpiece?
I just happened to find that. I don't even know how I saw it at this point, but I happened to see that somebody put somewhere a picture of this, because the new series of cards is called 1992 Marvel Masterpieces Platinum. They're all the base cards, just like the regular cards, are all chrome. So like in the 90s, that would have been like the special versions, is like a chrome one or a holographic one or something like that. And it caught my eye. I'm like, ooh, shiny Marvel Masterpiece. So what is this? And I was like, oh, it's brand new. The set had literally come out 2 days before. So it's still brand new. Like this has been like within the past month. And I'll check it out. And I dove right in.
So. It got you instantly.
It's scratching a different kind of itch right now.
That's really cool. That's awesome. Okay, so what do you have on pre-order that you're really looking forward to this year? And I feel like with you being a Mythics collector, I have to say outside of the dragon. That just seems like a given at this point.
I thought you were going to say outside of like the Necronominus wave or something, but yeah, outside of the dragon also. Well, I mean, there's a new figure art's coming out. I don't know how much you're into anime or anything like that.
A little bit, just a little bit into anime.
Or if you're familiar with any of it, but Bandai obviously does figure arts, and they're starting their My Hero Academia line.
Oh, nice.
of figures. And that's already out in Japan. It just hasn't come out here yet. So that's like one of the next big figures I really want. And then I'm really looking forward to, I'm assuming it's going to come out this year, is the next Transformers HasLab, the robots in disguise, the fire truck Optimus Prime and Ultra Magnus.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I typically don't do Transformers a lot. Like I will here and there. It's one of those like things I might randomly grab one just because I like that one, but I don't like to transform Transformers. Like I don't care about it. I did as a kid, I would transform the hell out of them, but I don't want to spend time transforming anything. If I get a Transformer, it's going to stay in robot mode forever, basically.
Yeah.
But that version of Optimus Prime and Ultra Magnus are, outside of G1, my favorite Transformers, period. So I jumped on that immediately, even though it's not really my thing. I've got the originals too, but I want these to go along with it. Optimus Prime as a fire truck just does it for me for some reason.
It's peanut butter and chocolate right there. You can't get any better. Yeah. I'm the same way with Transformers, because they're just so complex now. Like I feel like if I don't transform it after 6 months, I'll totally forget how to do it, and I need to go watch a YouTube video. Yeah,
I've gotten some other stuff recently it's not Transformers that transforms, and I'm just looking at these instructions like, maybe I'm too old for this. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I'm lost on step 3 or 4. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like I'll just leave it the way it came. This is a great looking figure that has the capability to transform. Let somebody else do it.
Yeah, sometimes I get lost in the instructions. I'm sitting here looking at it and I'm like, I really don't understand what you want me to do. I'm just going to watch a YouTube.
Yeah, I got a 3-0 Robotech figure a month or so ago, and like I was on like the second page, and I'm like, this looks so complex and annoying. I don't really want to do it. Like, and I never did transform it right. It was always wrong. I could never figure out like a few steps, and it's just like this is just not right.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, I guess that's probably why I really like these little guys, because these are fairly like foolproof.
You might be able to figure that one out on
Yeah,
your
like
own.
even I feel like I could pick up. Yeah, like if I pick up Bumblebee, I'm like I can transform that. Like that's no problem. I got that.
Sure.
But yeah, after like 6 or so months, it's another reason like I love playing video games. It's one of my biggest hobbies, like outside of like toys and stuff. And so I always feel like once I start a game, I want to play it all the way through to completion, suck every bit of enjoyment out of it, and then I'm probably never going to touch it again, because I feel like if I stop playing and start playing something else, like in 6 months I'm going to come back.
You're not going to go back.
I'm like, I don't remember the controls now. Like, how do I
remember any
now?
of
I
it?
gotta start over. Like, go through the tutorials. I'm too old for that. Like, I'm 48, so I'm to the point to where it's like I can't. I'll just let me play all the way through and be done, and I'll go back and play something else later. Like, yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I just feel like, with a Mythics collector, you have to say, okay, outside of the dragon, because that thing is just like, I think it's just going to absolutely dominate, like our wallets, our time, our shelf, our space. And now you've got cats.
Yeah, I'm really worried where I'm going to have to put it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's going to sit on the lair, I guess.
It'll have to, right? It'll have to. Oh my gosh. Is there a figure line, a figure or a line that has never been announced, or is like completely unannounced? It's not coming, that you would love to see made?
I mean, there's an easy answer, a couple really for me for this. The big one would be Dino Saucers.
Okay.
You familiar with that?
No.
There was a show in the 80s. You're into Legion, so you obviously are aware of the armies of Ashmore, the big dinosaur line that's coming.
Yeah, I cannot wait.
It's very similar to that, and there's almost no chance that Dino Saucers weren't an inspiration to some degree.
Okay.
Which is fine. But it was a cartoon in the mid 80s, right? Mid 80s, and they were like alien dinosaurs that came to Earth. There was a good guys and bad guys, and they're not humongous. They're like maybe 2 or 3 times the size of a human, and they fought each other. That was it. There were toys in the 80s, but they're probably some of the rarest vintage 80s toys that I could think of. I don't even know if they were actually released here. I know a lot of them are released in like South America. Ultra rare.
I am going
like
to
the
look
rarest
this
of
up
the rare kind of stuff.
after this, because I am not familiar with this.
It's got a really awesome intro song. It's great. Awesome show.
God.
The main bad guy was Genghis Rex. Yeah, it was
okay,
awesome.
I'm going to go look this up, because the only thing that I can find in the old memory banks is I remember Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. Like, I remember that show.
This is before that.
All right, I'm going to go have to check it out, like, because I am not familiar. So yeah,
a lot of people don't. I think this is definitely more of an unknown in the greater 80s landscape. Is this one? But yeah, I would love, like, this is absolutely a Super 7 line.
Okay,
like no doubt about it. This would have to be an Ultimates line. It's that kind of property, that aesthetic. They would be big, chunky, like beefy figures. Okay. Hopefully, anyway. And I think there's all sorts of rights nonsense with this property. That's why it never really pops up anymore. That'd probably be my, like, at the top of the list. I'd say Dino Riders. I'd love to see a Dino Riders line come back. It's an impossibility. It'll never happen. Certainly not in the way it happened in the 80s. Like, you're never going to get motorized big dinosaurs. Yeah. So I know that's not going to happen. But those two are like some dream properties that I would love, not to be stuck on dinosaurs, but they just happen to be very similar.
So you brought up Armies of Ashmore. Are you in on that? Have you got it pre-ordered? You back the Kickstarter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and when I really saw how big they were, I'm very concerned about the number that I have coming.
They're huge.
Because, like, I got all of them and all the blank ones too. So I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know where these are going.
Yeah. They're massive. I really like the look of, like, do you remember, like, the figures that came out maybe like a year ago or so that were the, like, Sora's,
the boss fight?
Yeah, the Sorazoic Warriors. Did you get any of those?
I've got the first wave. Yeah.
Were they good? Were they fun?
They were pretty cool. I mean, they're exactly what they look like. They're definitely like toys, but I really liked them. They were cool.
Yeah, they look like they're straight
wacky colors. They looked like they came out of like the early 90s.
Yeah. I never got any, but they looked really good. And then when I saw
something that they go alongside turtles really well.
Okay.
That's that kind of line. Like they look like, I mean, there's obviously aesthetic differences, but they look like they could have gone together at the time.
Yeah. Very cool. Awesome. Okay. So
They were fun.
along those same lines, if you could take a toy license away from an existing company and give it to another company, what would it be and who would you give it to?
That's a tough question. That's a tough question. Part of me wants to say Star Wars.
That's mine.
But I don't know who I would want to give it to. Right. I don't know who I would want to give it to. I've always kind of said, like, if and when Star Wars ever goes to somebody else, like that's the moment where I have to stop.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like I can't start again. I can't do it all again.
Yeah.
I've got way too many Star Wars figures from the same company for the entirety of my life. I can't do it again. And it sounds awful. Like it sounds awful to start over from something that has that big of a potential.
Right.
That's thousands of figures that could potentially come out. I can't do it. I couldn't do it again.
When it comes to your Star Wars, do you have like, you have Kenner, you have like Hasbro 3 3/4, you have Black Series, like, so you're all across all gamuts, like you're okay.
I've got a lot of stuff from various eras.
Okay. Yeah. Same. Yeah.
Yeah. So like that would be the one. It's like, I'd love to see what somebody else could do with it, but it terrifies me to think of what it would be. It's like, it's who could do it really? Who has the capability of doing it at scale? The only other company that I could see doing it is McFarlane, and that's a no.
That's a no. I do not want that
because they're the only company that really makes anything, that could compete. I don't see Mattel doing it, and I don't see Playmates doing it. So I don't know who would ever even try. I feel like if anybody that would got it, Mattel would try to get it, would be the one, but I don't know what they would make. Like I can't envision a Mattel Star Wars figure.
Yeah. I figured I wouldn't ask a question.
I can't envision.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Anything that I'd want to buy.
I figured I couldn't ask a question if I didn't have an answer for it myself. So when I was thinking about this question, because it's something I think about all the time, I was like, well, what would my answer be? And the only thing I could think of, and this is probably kind of wild, and it would probably take a lot of Hasbro helping, but I would like to see if the license would go potentially to like Jada Toys and see what they could do in the 6-inch realm of like Star Wars, or maybe not really 6-inch. Maybe it's like that 5.5.
See, my whole like idea behind this is the idea that it's not just any other brand. This is, for better or worse, I mean, it's not anymore, but it was for the longest time the most important toy license ever. And I have only ever seen a Jada Street Fighter figure in a store one time. I don't want Star Wars going to them.
Yeah.
I don't think they can do it to the scale that it needs to be done. Not that they couldn't make a good figure, but I don't think it would work.
I think it would take a lot of help
do it either. Like they could, but like, there'd just be a lot more that would have to go into it. Like this isn't just, that one is not the one that's like, yeah, we'll just give it to this company and they'll do it. It's like, no, you're not. Like, you're really not. And it's not to like say that Hasbro's doing anything like special, or because they're definitely not anymore.
Right.
It's just hard to think of that brand with anybody else.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right.
Outside of like, the Japanese companies like Bandai or Mayfex that get to do what they do, but you couldn't do that with them either because their product is way too expensive. And, you're not going to have, you're going to have a lot of people that are not going to want to start a brand new collection at $50 a pop or whatever, it's going to be at the minimum.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you own any of the Jada like Street Fighter or their Cyberpunk figures that they recently did?
The only thing I have from Jada is the Mega Man stuff.
Okay. How is that? I don't.
Street Fighter figures just don't interest me. Like I don't really care about it. As I love Street Fighter. Like I love, I played them my entire life, but I don't care about having them as toys. So
they were impulse buys for sure.
They weren't even on my radar.
Yeah,
really.
They were impulse buys for sure. I happened to be in my Target and they had a Fei Long, and I love Fei Long. Like he's one of my favorite. Like when they introduced
I've only ever seen one. I've seen Ken one time, and that's it. I never see them.
And I bought Fei Long, and I was hooked. I was like, yeah, I don't need a line of Street Fighter figures, but these.
See, now when Storm Collectibles does their new 112 line,
yeah,
for Street Fighter, that might change my mind. because they're at the same price point.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
They're going $25, which is way less than I thought they were going to be.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a solid price point. But yeah, for what they are, they're 25. The paint is excellent. The articulation.
I mean, I've seen and heard nothing but good
it's
things.
really good.
So
I would love to see
if you're into Street Fighter, that's it.
Yeah, right. Like I think they would do a good job manufacturing the figure, like making a good figure. But you're right, like you couldn't just drop that IP on them and say good luck, because I don't think they have the scale of production to be able to meet that.
I don't think they have the infrastructure available for it. The only companies that really do would be like Mattel and McFarlane. Playmates maybe, but nobody wants Playmate Star Wars figures.
It is a shame, because it's a great line and a great license, and I don't know. Like, it just kind of feels like Hasbro is just phoning it in with Star Wars. G.I. Joe, they're crushing it, but yeah, Star Wars, I don't know. I just I feel like okay, moving on. What is your favorite Toy Con and why? I feel like I may know the answer to this, but gotta ask it anyway.
I mean, right now it's Legion's Con for sure. In the past, it would have said I would have said PowerCon, but and I mean, really, it's just because of what it is, not necessarily because I'm going to buy toys either. Because I don't leave Legion's Con with a lot of stuff usually, just enough to fill my suitcase typically, and that's about it. But it's, you know, kind of what that line means to me and where I'm at in terms of collecting and just, you know, hanging out with people. And that's really the bigger reason why I want to go is just to hang out.
Yeah, it's the people.
And see everybody that I only get to see once a year, basically, right?
Yeah, very cool, very cool. Yeah, when you say so you don't buy enough, like, just to ship home, like, so whatever you can fit in your I always have to ship stuff home.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, there's not a lot that I'm going to buy. I mean, I bought a custom this past year, and I did the armory, and I got snakes, but you know, I dump all the packaging and throw up my suitcase and go home.
That's the way to do it. I definitely should do that. You kind of alluded to this earlier with your comics, but do you have any collecting regrets? Did you ever, like, get rid of a figure and you're like, dang, I wish I'd never done that? Or
not really. I kind of have a really hard time letting go of stuff. Well, at least this kind of stuff anyway. So there's not anything that I really could think of off the top of my head that I got rid of that I was like, oh, I just can't get that back. Or I need to get it back. I mean, I'd say the biggest regret really is not being more organized with my collecting.
Oh, I feel that. I feel that so much.
Yeah. I'm trying actively to correct that, you know, and kind of figuring out how much do I actually have and where is it? And is it, you know, stored correctly? Do I have all the parts still? Are they in this bin? Are they in that bin? You know, because I just, with the amount of stuff that I get and the frequency of it, like, it just gets away from me. So I you know, part of that is paring it down. Like, do I absolutely need some of this stuff? Or, you know, if I do quote unquote need it, you know, let's make sure that it's where it needs to be. Is this something I want displayed? You know, can it be put in a bin for a while? Does it need to go somewhere else? Yeah, I've been very unorganized with my collecting.
How's your display in your room
and the space and
right now? Like, are you happy with where it is, like, right now, or are you still?
Oh, it's a nightmare right now. No, like, these cases are almost empty.
They look almost empty. I couldn't tell if it was a glare or the light was really bright. So
they've been empty for a very long time. Because the amount of it's like one of those things. It's like the amount of time it's going to take to actually fill that up with, because it's all going to be figure arts and stuff like that.
Okay.
All import stuff is going to go in those cases, and there's, like, you know, a few hundred figures that I got to go through to even just figure out what's going to go in there, and then I have to get them out. Then I have to make sure I have the right accessories. Then I got to pose them all, and it's just it's a daunting thing to set up a collection.
No, you're right. It is,
because it's not done. It keeps getting added to. You know, like, I would love I'd love some lines to end, honestly. Like, can some of these lines end on a really high note? Like, let's blow it out of the water, but let's be done. Is what I want to say. I mean, I don't want them to stop making some of this stuff, but it's like, at some point, I can't keep buying it all. So
Yeah.
One of my, that's like the biggest regret is like to just not be as organized or ready to display this stuff as I want to be. I'm trying to clear out space in my office for Cat's Lair, to make sure that it has the right amount of space and get stuff out of there. And it'll be, because the office is just as messy as the basement. So I want it to be a place that I can actually want to be in, rather than a place that I'm, just surrounded by stuff.
It cause anxiety, like you want to go in that room and feel at peace and feel happy here. And you don't want to go in there and be like, God, there's so much work that has to be done. It just makes you anxious. And I wouldn't want that either. That just sounds like, oh God, a nightmare. Something just, I'm going to interject. I'm going to interrupt the flow here just a little bit, because something just jumped into my head, because it is so kind of topical. And so it's not really in the flow of the questions I'm asking you, but I don't know if you're a big Marvel Legends collector, but I'm sure you saw the news of the Maximum, like the Marvel Legends Maximum series, and they started with that Spider-Man. So the price point is like a big point that everybody's discussing right now. Do you want to weigh in on that, or have you weighed in on that already publicly? Like,
I really haven't weighed in on it. I don't think I've talked to anybody about it, honestly. It's one of those things, like, I really would need to see it to know if, like, is this really worth it? Right. Like, it's yet another Spider-Man too. And that's kind of the one thing, like, Spider-Man is not my favorite character by any stretch at all. Like, he's a major character, very important character, but I got so many damn Spider-Man figures right now. Like, I don't know, do I need this one? And I'm very much getting into this kind of like state of mind or frame of mind where, like, I'm kind of tired of a buttload of accessories coming with every figure, because they can't all display on the figure. Like, you just can't. I'm very tired of having to store accessories and catalog stuff and put things in bags and put the bags in bins and then know where everything is. And, that may sound like a super first world kind of problem, but everybody has a different size collection. Somebody who just collects Marvel Legends, you can easily handle that. I collect like 40 different lines, maybe. That's an exaggeration, but it's an inane number of lines. Yeah. Like, it's a lot of lines. And there's just, everything comes with so much, So, like, this is one of those things, like, it's cool that they're making this. I like the idea behind it. If it gives them the ability to bring in new body types to the line or entirely new tooling just by virtue of the fact that they're doing this, that's fine. I know that people are not exactly happy with the price point, and probably have some valid reasons as to why. But at the same time, if you don't want it, don't buy it, kind of thing. And I don't know if I'm going to buy it. I don't know. I mean, I probably will, just because it's the first thing in this new line, but I wasn't like blown away by it or anything. It looks cool. It comes with a lot of cool stuff. I like the packaging.
Right.
But if it was a Wolverine figure, I probably would have had a different reaction to it.
I'm sure he's next,
but he's not the right type of character to use that, because he doesn't have as many options for accessories. Spider-Man has all this stuff that he could come with.
Yeah, Iron Man, I think
Wolverine has 800 different costumes.
Yeah, I mean,
something you'll get like we'll get a bunch of A-listers like this, I suspect. Iron Man, Cap, maybe, stuff like that. Some bigger villains, but I like the idea of it, but at the end of the day, it's going to come down to, like, once it's in hand, it doesn't feel like this is actually worth it. Is there? Because it's still going to be a Marvel Legends figure. Exactly. Like, it's not going to be a different kind of figure. But that's fine. I like Marvel Legends, and they're in a pretty good place right now. They put out a lot of cool stuff. But it's a Spider-Man with a whole bunch of stuff that I'm never going to use.
I feel the exact same way. I'm glad you brought that up, because, like, I have an entire bin of nothing but spider webs from like Marvel Legends and Mafex and like all SH Figure Arts and Mezco. Like, I don't know like how many more webs I'm supposed to keep up with, plus all the custom ones that I've bought that are like wired and like posable, and it's just a lot of stuff. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm still, of course, they haven't released the price yet, and everybody's like kind of weighing in. Is it going to be 50? Is it going to be 60? I know that they're trying to go after that SH Figure Arts Mafex articulation, but I still think at the end of the day,
I mean, I'm kind of under the assumption it's going to be like a 45-ish price range is what I was kind of thinking about. I don't know. I mean, I can't see myself paying $50 for a Spider-Man from
Me
Hasbro.
either. I just don't think I can do it. For me, I like,
You know, like I don't buy the Mafex. I don't buy import Marvel at all. It's Hasbro or nothing.
I got
for
you.
me.
Okay.
Not for any other reason than like I didn't want to go down that road.
Right.
Basically, not that they don't look amazing. They do, but like I'm not going to spend an inordinate amount of money on a Spider-Man from Hasbro.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to have to be something special. If it's really worth, you know, if somebody gets it and it's like the greatest thing since sliced bread, then sure, yeah, let's jump on it. But
yeah, and there's going to
gotta wait and see
have
on this
one
one.
like.
I'm curious for
yeah,
sure.
I'm very curious about it, but yeah, and then at the frequency in which they come out, because let's say they are 50, you know, are you putting one out like every quarter, every 2 months? Like, what are you doing? Like, what's the frequency? You know, are these things going to
right?
be
I'm curious how they're going to utilize this format. Like, you know, what's the point of it? Is this because I mean, to me, it seems like a way to recoup tooling dollars. To me,
okay,
this is where, you know, because like the accessories, they certainly don't require a lot of money.
Right.
All of that stuff is probably in one tool. It's done, or some of it's already done. It's already tooled. I don't know. I'm just curious what the actual end game is. You know, what the point of this is. Is it just this is the only way we can do super decoed figures? Okay, sure. Paint costs money, and the labor is what really does it for that side of things, I believe. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely curious about it. It wasn't the thing that like wowed me the most from that reveal. Like I was more interested in a lot of the other stuff they showed.
Yeah, that Miles looks amazing. Like I'm really interested, and then like how they each come like the little.
I mean,
comics,
they revealed a classic Adam Warlock. That was enough for me. So,
I dig the little comics.
That did it for me right there.
Well, cool. Yeah, I just wanted to get your.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that idea.
I wanted to throw that in there real quick. I know it disrupted the flow of our questions, so let's get back to it. So, has a friend? We only have a few more left. Has a friend ever gotten you to start collecting a line that you were otherwise like, nah, I'm not interested in this at all?
I don't think so, and that's the only answer I can give. I don't think so.
Okay.
It's possible, but I don't recall it happening. And honestly, it's mostly because like I only have one friend locally that collects toys. You know, one person that I see in person with any regularity that collects toys, just one person, and he's definitely influenced by me. It's not the other way around.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
For better or worse. And I mean, but yeah, I mean, there's like been, you know, instances where, you know, other folks like, you know, on YouTube or other people that I talk to that are in the community have kind of, you know, maybe swayed my opinion, but I can't think of anything that like resulted in me starting like going down a rabbit hole on I'll get a message after this goes out and someone's like, I told you to buy this. And like, oh, well, maybe, but I don't think so. I mean, like, I think it's mostly because like I really like so much stuff. It's probably a good indicator that I'm probably going to be. It's probably going to be on my radar to begin with.
Right.
You know, I'm so in this daily. It's going to take a lot for someone to like show me something that I wasn't already aware of.
Right.
Or kind of make me stop and say, oh, I didn't pay any attention to that. That's really rare. Okay. So
I'm going to send you a Jada Toy Street Fighter as soon as this is over, and we'll see what's going on. If you had to sell it all and keep only one toy line, what would it be?
This kind of goes back to something I said earlier, but it would be Masters Classics because it's over.
Yeah, it's complete.
Because I've had this thought before. It would be Classics, not just because, you know, it is what it is. Like it's probably on any given day my all-time favorite modern toy line. It has a lot of problems, but it's a very complete line in many ways. But it's over.
Yeah.
There is no more, and there's not going to be any more because Mattel pretty much disavows it ever created it at this point. Because I've had this thought where like if I save like my Legions or my Figuarts, well, they're going to keep coming out, and I'm going to want to buy them. But then I'm only going to have this one thing, and then the next thing is going to catch my eye, and then the next thing, and then I'll just have a whole new collection again. So like if I was going to lose it all, you know, I'd save the one line that is not coming back, and I've got it, and it's done.
That's the same with me. Mine would be Superpowers. I don't have a complete Superpowers collection by any means, but it is my all-time favorite. I love that McFarlane has brought it back, and I love that they're making new figures. I love it. Like I'm all into that, and the vehicles. I hope they make play sets. I'm all into that. But yeah, if I had,
Yeah, he's going crazy with
he
that stuff.
is.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
cool. I don't buy that, but I like to see that stuff come
yeah, that
out.
stuff just that's it for me. Like that's my favorite toy line of all time. So yeah, I feel you. It's over. It's complete. If I had it, if I had, like I kind of feel like I could sell everything and just buy that. I would be complete. But yeah, some of those are really hard to get. Like I have a friend of mine who
Sure.
plopped
Yeah.
down like I think right at 2 grand for Cyborg because that's what he goes for, and he wanted it. And
That's what he goes
yeah,
for. Yeah.
and that's where we are. All right, so sort of in the same vein, house is on fire. You can only grab one figure to save it. What is it going to be?
Well, I don't really have a lot of like super nostalgic ties to like one specific figure. But it would be the easy answer here is that it would be my original uh, Masters Stinkor,
Mm. Why did you?
my
Why do you
vintage
think you
one.
gravitated towards Stinkor as a kid?
I really don't know. I have no idea. I don't. I think at this point it's the smell more than anything else because the smell really does something for me um, on a weird level. Um, but like my original figure, he still
Yeah,
stinks. You know, he still smells. He's broken. His leg is the joint in the crotch shattered
yeah,
years ago. But I refuse to put him back together. He's going to stay that way. So it would be a broken
yeah.
Stinkor.
That's amazing. Yeah,
I don't know. Anybody that makes him, however you're going to make him, I'm gonna
yeah.
buy it.
It's so funny that you say that because that you say that the smell does something to you on like a higher level, like because I have a distinct memory of going out in the summer and playing with my Masters of the Universe figures outside. And I remember having one of my favorites was Cobra Khan. And you remember how like you could pop his head off and fill him up with water and then like put the head back on. He was like a
Yeah,
spray bottle, right? Very remember like I very distinctly remember like being out there being hot, wanting to like go inside and get water, but like didn't want to. I didn't want to stop playing. So I would just spray the water in my mouth and drink the Cobra Khan water. And being inside of that plastic body, the water had a very distinctive taste. And like to this day, I can remember exactly what that water tasted like. And it's so funny. Like I know that's so weird, but it's just like stink or smell. Like,
that's very
it's very
specific. Yeah,
specific, but it's like stink or smell. It's like it just immediately takes you back to like being a kid again and having this like playing outside with your favorite figures and like the memories that it brings. And so
right.
I know it's weird, it's bizarre. I also love smelling action figures. So me and some of my friends, they really make fun of me. Like, I'll get a new figure and I'll just sit there and smell it, and they're like, "Why are you doing this? This is so weird."
Oh, you're not the only one that
They're
does
like,
that.
"This is so weird. Why are you doing?" All right. Final question, and we're gonna wrap it up. What is your favorite thing about collecting?
I mean, the probably the biggest thing for me is it's just kind of like a thing that takes me back to being a kid. Like that's it, really.
Yeah,
I've played with action figures my whole life, so
same.
there's just a lot of nostalgia tied up into it, especially when it comes to certain brands and Turtles, Thundercats, Motu, Star Wars. Just it's always been present, even when I wasn't really doing it. It's not like the toys went away.
Right.
I just wasn't buying a lot of new stuff. They were always still out. They were always still around. Um, that's really
Yeah.
it.
It's just something about that nostalgia, man, that just it pulls us back to a simpler time. I need that in my daily life. Like I need it every day. Like when things get too loud or things get too overwhelming, I just grab a figure and have just a couple minutes to myself, and instantly I'm back to being a kid again and playing. And it's just
Right.
it just puts you in
Yeah.
a moment, a very specific moment. I know that may be weird for some people, but to like understand that connection, they just think it's, oh, you're just playing with a toy, but it's reminiscing. It's like looking through a photo album or something like that. It's like it's really
Right.
good. Well, Jared, I really appreciate you for your time tonight, being so gracious with your time, sitting down and talking to me about collecting and everything to do with your collections. Again, can you run down for everybody where we can find you and all of your stuff?
Sure. Toy Bro on YouTube, Toy underscore Bro on Instagram, and Toy Bro Reviews not to make it ultra complicated, on Twitter or X or whatever you're calling the bird site
I'll
these
run
days.
it down at the bottom visually so everybody can see it. So, but yeah, thank you so very much for being like, you know, one of my first guests on the show. I can't thank you enough. You're definitely somebody that's been around that I have watched that made me want to start a YouTube channel. Just watching your consistency and your passion and your love for action figures that comes through your videos. And it gave me the confidence to say, hey, I want to join that community, and I want to add my voice to this conversation. So, dude, I can't thank you enough.
Absolutely.
Man. Thank you so very much. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching this. I super appreciate it. Please continue to check us out over at Instagram at Saturday Morning Toy Collector. I am your Saturday Morning Toy Collector. I'm your host, Mark, and I will see you in the toy aisles.